Hello guys, and today we have here another very awesome video. We have here a UA deck profile. I've been really waiting to do this deck profile, but there's been better decks to do obviously, and I finally got to it. They did get some new support in Secrets of Eternity. So as far as the deck goes, it's still very much the same. The only change it does is that it can OTK a little bit harder. It can make rank 7s and XZ summon a little bit easier, and mainly through UA turnover tactic, which I will get to once I get to that card. So let me go through. 1 Redux for rank 7s. Once you start making your rank 7s and you have Redux, it becomes a lot easier because then you start detaching, get them into your grave, because a lot of times with this deck, you won't have any monsters in your grave because you're always bouncing them back to your hand. And so once you, with Redux, it becomes a little bit easier. And so then once you overlay that first time, you start detaching, you start getting them into grave, it just becomes easier to make rank 7s. And here is our level 7 block backer. As far as effect is, once per turn when your opponent spell summons a monster, you can change their battle position, and if you do negate their effects, that works really good with turnover tactics, which I will get to later. 1 Goalkeeper, he can protect himself and make it so that way he, once per turn, cannot be destroyed with battle or by card effect. 3 of our Armatis. This card's been here since Duel's Alliance, still really good. Same along with Perfect Ace. It's a card to negate, you get out 2 or 3 of them during your opponent's turn. It can become really hard for you to do anything. And then our really awesome guy, pretty much our searcher of the deck, is Midfielder. He doesn't actually shirt. I can't pronounce. He doesn't actually shirt. Anyways, he doesn't search the deck. Finally. He doesn't search by himself, but if you have the field spell, he is what you use to get off your search. If you normal summon him, because he's just a level 4. All the other ones are higher level. 3 Max C, we're running this because of Nikos in the meta. 1 Rejeki. 2 Rotas, we're only running 2 because we only have 3 targets. Same with Terraforming, we only have 3 targets, so we're running 2. 2 Dualities, this is kind of iffy. I was thinking maybe taking this out, but if you have like Monarch Storm 4th, then you can still make it play. 2 MSDs, not 1 but 2. And then here is Turnover Tactic. This is a new card, and let me go over it. If you control 2 or more UA monsters with different names, not that hard to do. Shuffle as many monsters on the field as possible into the deck, so you're hurting your opponent just by getting rid of all their monsters, like Morphing Jar. And then special some UA monsters from your deck that have different names from each other, up to the number of cards shuffled into your main deck. This is what makes XZ summoning a lot easier, because you could summon out like a Blockbacker, a Mighty Slugger, and then a Midfielder. But those monsters cannot attack, so unfortunately, yeah, that is the thing. When they cannot attack, then your opponent can special summon monsters from their deck up to the number of cards shuffled into their main deck. You can only use it once per turn. And then you want to go for Blockbacker, because that way, if they summon them into attack position, or if they summon them in defense position, you can switch them and make it so that way you can do a whole bunch of damage. But then, if you're like, you do that, you summon Blockbacker, you summon Mighty Slugger, and you summon Midfielder. If you have another copy of any of these guys, or ones of the same level, like a Perfect Ace, you can just instantly return 1 and then overlay. So if you have a Redux in grave and you summon out your Blockbacker, you can summon him. Or if you have another Blockbacker, you can just bounce back the Midfielder. So it's a really good way to get to your UA monsters real easily. And then just go for quick XZ summons, because that was something that was hard in this deck. Like, you couldn't really make your rank 4s. And then we run 3 Stormforth, but that's tribute to our opponent's monsters. It's pretty much our answer to anything, including the Jhin. And then 1 Power Jersey. This is an iffy card. I know some people don't play this, but I mean, if you can equip it to an Armatis who gets 1000+ attack, does double damage, and can attack twice on monsters, that can be like 6000 damage real easily, because it goes up to like 38 if you have the field spell, and you have that, and then pretty much you're attacking into like 15 or 2000 attack monsters, which means you're doing around 18 to 23 damage, which can easily add up once you double it. And then 1 Snatch Steal, aka our 4th Monarch Storm 4th, or our easy overlay. And then UA Stadium, this is the actual searcher of the deck. If a UA monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, you can add 1 UA monster from your deck to your hand. So you pretty much normal summon midfielder and you get off your search. And if you then return them to hand to special summon any of these guys, because that is how you special summon them if you don't know, by returning another UA monster to the hand, they gain 500 attack. All monsters you control gain 500 attack. So that's really nice just to see random things get boosted, like a Redox get up to 21 and then 26 attack, which can be really funny. And then for a trap, 1 Bottomless, 1 Compulse, 2 Vanities, and 1 Warning. Really iffy about the Vanities and the Max Seed, but yet I've kind of developed a system because I've been doing this in a lot of decks. If I don't have a good monster out, I Max Seed. Or if I don't feel like I have good control. If I have good control, then I'll Emptiness. Like if I can get out 2 Perfect Ace, then I might Emptiness. If I have like a Mighty Slugger, then I'll Max Seed. But that is just how I play around with Max Seed and Vanities. Really, it's big for Nekroz and the Burning Abyss. That is the real reason. And the Max Seeds, they can easily be sided out against a variety of decks. For the extra decks, we won 2 Draco Sacks, 1 Big Eye, 1 Alcinodes and Mayo, 1 Tyrus, Keeper of Genis. Do note that XE summoning is still a little bit iffy because I don't really like to get rid of my Mighty Sluggers or my Perfect Ace, but it's there if you can go for game. 1 Argius, 1 number 61 for Burn, Crazy Box, this is for Unicorn of the Nekroz. If he's going to negate this guy's effect, then you might as well just have a quick 3000 beater. And besides, you can always roll a dice and half your life points. 1 101, 1 Castel, 1 Exciton Knight, 1 Diagesser and Multicycle, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Cowboy, and 1 Rhapsody and Berserk again for Nekroz primarily. And that is the deck as a whole. And it's not that bad. I mean, the only problem is if you don't get off, you get UA Stadium and a midfielder real quick, it can be a little bit slow. Because if you can't summon a monster, it can be really, really bad. But if you can just have a midfielder and any of these guys, then you might be able to play on for just a little bit of time. And yeah, that's the deck. This deck used to be very different when artifacts was a thing. Like you could run artifacts, but then Molotov got hit. And there's been a variety of builds. Like I've seen people run Tour Guide, and so that way they can make MX Invoker, MX Saber Invoker, and then they use stuff for, to summon out midfielder. And then they've also used stuff like Edge and Sabres to summon himself, who can summon himself out real quickly, so that way you have Tribute Potter. So there's a lot of different builds of UAs. I like this build. Unfortunately, when I was testing it here on DevPro, a lot of people tend to quit. And so that is one reason why I tend to like Wing. People don't quit anymore. Or if they do, you get some points. But that is something else. That's another discussion that I can put onto my list of discussion videos to make. And yeah, it's a good deck. I mean, if you're playing a meta, if you're playing Burning Abyss, or playing Nekroz, don't underestimate this deck. I mean, specifically Nekroz, if you see a perfect ace, you realize they're going to negate your Kaleido or your Exomir or your Trishula. So you have to play smart when you're playing this deck or playing against this deck, and just make sure that you don't lose. But if you're playing this deck, then just again play smart. And hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I'm kind of rambling now. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out my previous video, which if I ever get around to annotating, there should be a link to. See you guys later. Bye.